Hi, welcome to virtual back to school night for Algebra 2. I'm Miss Venero and I co-teach this class with Miss Wagner, who you will be meeting in a couple more slides. So the breakdown of our grading is tests are 40%, quizzes are 30%, classwork's 15, and homework's 15. So we no longer are having benchmarks this year with everything going on with the hybrid learning. So we incorporated some new categories, new percentages. Classwork is new, and that's very important this year because sometimes students will be at home, in person, or fully at home, and we want students to be making the most of their time of class. So sometimes we'll post a quick assignment and say, okay, finish this by the end of class so that students are sticking to as much of a routine as they possibly can. Also, there's homework. Homework is all virtual assignments because, once again, sometimes we won't be seeing the students in class. So the topics we're covering this year, the first topic is functions. That's what we're doing right now. Everything to do with functions, what makes a functions, different types of functions, how do you evaluate functions. They learned that in Algebra 1, but we're revisiting it in Algebra 2 because it is the basis of algebra. Next, we learn about complex numbers. So once again, in Algebra 1, we only worked with the real number system. Now in Algebra 2, we're working with the complex number system. For example, in Algebra 1, they would take a square root of a negative number, and their answer would be no real solution. Now in Algebra 2, we know about this new number system, so there is a solution. It's just imaginary. And that's what makes math so great, is that there are answers that are imaginary. Then we go on to logarithms, polynomials, rational expressions, rational exponents. So our routine for hybrid learning is that students walk in or get off their bed and onto their kitchen table and open their Chromebooks and answer a do now. The do now is usually related to the previous day's lesson or it's an SAT question. And then they Zoom. If they're at home, they go on their Zoom. And the way we run our Zoom is that we share our screen so that what we are presenting to the students in class, the students at home are also seeing. And what's so great is that we have a smartboard here. So that means when I write on the board, it shows up on the students' Chromebooks. So they are getting the exact same lesson, whether they're in class or at home. And there's a great chat feature. So students that are not comfortable with like maybe raising their hand, they just type a question and we are able to answer it throughout the class. So then once we open our Zoom session, it's a normal day from there on out.
Hello, my name is Miss Wagner, and as Miss V said, we co-teach Algebra 2 together. I'm going to pick up on the presentation where she had left off. On this slide, you'll see that we have our Google Classroom icon. This is a very important resource for your student. Most students are very familiar with Google Classroom because they have been using them and they are used in every single class in the high school. In particular, our Google Classroom will contain things like class notes. So if the student needs to go back and try some examples or look at things that we've done in class, they are posted on there. It also contains assignments. So this is classwork or homework assignments and their due dates. This is a tool that can help your student to stay very organized with their assignments. It will also contain an extra help Zoom link or Zoom links that we use to join our classroom while we're teaching. This is very important for your students to check because every day there's a Zoom link when we have class and they can come in, join, and take the notes with the class and almost be in the classroom without actually being in the building. Our Google Classroom page will also contain study guides for tests and quizzes, and it will also have answer keys on there. This is an important resource for your student to become comfortable using, and if they have any questions, they should always reach out to us. Extra help this year is a little bit different because of the socially distancing aspect. If your student is coming to school that day, so if their cohort meets in school, then that student can come before class and meet with us in person, one-on-one, and get that extra help that they would like. Miss V will be in room 112 and I will be in room 113. They're right next door to each other. Only thing that I ask is that if they know they are coming in the morning, to just send me an email because sometimes in the morning I make photocopies and if I'm not sitting in the room, I might miss your child. So if they could just send an email just letting me know that they're coming, I will make sure I stay in my room for them. If your student is all virtual, or if their cohort group does not meet that day, they still can get extra help. We have an extra help Zoom link that is available Monday through Friday from 1:17 to 2:32. This Zoom link is always posted on our Google Classroom, and all the student has to do is go into Google Classroom, click the link, and it will put them in the waiting room. Once they are in the waiting room, we will be helping students one-on-one. So I let them in, I help them, and I'll help the next student. So if they are waiting in the waiting room for a couple minutes, it's just because I'm working with someone first that was there before them. This is a great resource for your students because they do get that one-on-one help, and it's just between the two of them, no one else is around, and they can ask whatever questions they need and stay on for however long they need. You don't need to email us about the Zoom link if you're joining. We are open all the time from 1:17 to 2:32. Other online resources that we will be using are Big Ideas, which is our textbook, and all students should have access to the online textbook already. We did just take our first quiz on Big Ideas, so all students are in there. IXL, which is a website that gives the students practice problems and will tell them if they are correct or incorrect. Khan Academy, which is a website that has videos and practice, and it's directly related to College Board, which is great for SATs and ACTs. And we also use Edpuzzle, which is a great video source. The students will watch a video and they can answer questions while they're watching the video, and that helps us to see what parts of the video they understand and what parts we might have to go over again in class. Thank you so much for the support. We always keep Parent Portal open and up to date. So if you see something, please feel free to reach out to us and just make sure to monitor their grades. And remember that communication is key between everyone. So as long as we are all on the same page, this should be a very, very successful year for your student. If you do need to contact us, our emails should be on the next slide here. So Ms. V's is the top one and mine is the bottom one. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thank you.